My views on the good day. I'm reporting for you UHAS Base TV. And I'm currently at Asogli Hall. Students, they are views concerning the 2021-2022 election. So join me as we know their views and opinions. My views on the 2022 concerning the 2021 election. It's actually with me. I think that
before the election started, we had expectations.
In the moment we know that we have
there was a really wrong,
but then we need
and then I was leaving there. I was in and because of the elections too. Me, I didn't. So I was suggesting that the elections are being done.
But then the other teams expected to be
so, as I was saying, I did know that there will be a time to calm down. We know how our national president is going on right now. And right now, I think they say we have 90. So when the freshers came, it became something that was worrying them. They approached me and I told them that. But since you have the matter imported that is casting optics, sooner or later, that's going to be the outcome. But then we are still in that.
Because we have a constitution. If there is a constitution, and you know there's rule of law. So if you want everything,
what I know is that there is the constitution, and according to the
not someone's arguments might hold, but at least let's try and see if the argument the person is coming with holds with in terms of the constitution. Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that everything we do that is but I think that there was a point where they didn't follow the constitution. They were following their own ideas. So if they should follow the constitution, they should go ahead. I think all these things will be because by this time the school is now unless I was the president. When there should be unless I was the president. It's not such a
whenever you fail to further,
I think high time the judiciary comes together. That is people
automatically things will happen.
They should come together. So
even if
as early as possible.
either one,
yes, this is how it is. And you also can meet this misfortune. It's not a nice thing at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what my brother has said it all because after me here is into law, he has been reading law books and all those stuff. So anything that he's seeing right now is just I just agree with it. I have to go with it.
Thank you.
I don't even know if you're live or not. No, as in like me. Good evening and thank you for joining us here on UHAS Base TV. This is our coverage of the manifesto of the SRC presidency. Now, as you may know, today is supposed to be the day the candidate manifesto for this session. It has been a rather especially the continuous number of states new to you. So as most of you have noticed, we have just one candidate standing for the presidency. So how did we get here? Let's take a look at the previous event. Now, somewhere last year, there was opening of nominations. Nominations were open, and the candidates they came and then they brought a nomination form. There was vetting of candidates. There was reading of manifesto. There was a presidential debate. Now everything started on the eve of the election. Now on the eve of the election, the vice to one of the candidates, Sunnydays, resigned. Despite that, the next day was election day. The polls, instead of opening at 7 a.m., opened at 10 a.m. and at 8 p.m., the polls closed. So later in the evening, the polls ended and the EC was declaring the result. Now, as the EC was declaring the result, the Chief Justice came and then placed an injunction on the declaration of the result. So after that, it led to a court hearing, a series of court hearing where those who had their cases brought it before the court, they sat on it, and the court gave a verdict that there should be a rerun of the election. But that wasn't enough. The complaints went to the University Appeal Board, where they sat on it again, and they gave the recommendation that they do new elections. So that is where we are right now. Nominations were open last week, and we have new candidates who are standing. So I'm here with Stella. We are going to discuss the sequence of events. So first of all, I want to take your opening statement from Stella first. What do you make of this whole election situation? It has been a very, very long process.
Okay, so thank you once again. We are all welcome. Like you said initially, this election process has been a long one.
Yeah.
It will be new to the freshers because, like I said, we don't know much about it. But for continuing students, I'm sure most people have followed and they know very important too. And then I was saying, a lot has gone into it. A lot has gone into it. But I think we are trusting the Electoral Commission to be able to work and everything will be put in place.
Okay, Kenneth, what about you?
Mr. Zenas, thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to take this opportunity to comment the work of the UHAS Base TV for the amazing work that they are doing in the UHAS society. It's worth it and the work for me. So I think it is important that people around who are in the environment come and applaud the work that they do. But what do you make of the UHAS SRC as a whole? If Mr. Zenas, you would permit me, I would like to throw some light on what happened on the University of Ghana election, so we can make some juxtapositions and see how best we can collate and relate their election issues to that of UHAS. And this basically tells us that this is not anything precedented, especially when it is a matter of university and tertiary education. What happened in the University of Ghana was that they had to rerun the election because there was a tie. And after the rerun of the election, one of the candidates won. And an injunction was placed on the whole election processes. And what happened was that somebody was asked to come and then act when there has already been election, a rerun of the election, and then we have had a winner. And so they didn't understand, that is Prince Asumedu and then Indukwe. They didn't understand why certain things should be done that way. And so they petitioned the registrar, the dean of students, and then the entire management of the University of Ghana. And then after several back and forth, didn't reach anywhere. To them, that wasn't to their satisfaction. So they took the whole case to the High Court of Accra.
Okay.
They took the case to the High Court of Accra, and then management came in to release the communique informing them that they should be halt on the elections. So the electoral commissioners were suspended for some time, and then the whole process were halt because of the injunction and then the whole thing that has to do with the Accra High Court. So the treasurer was asked to be the vice president, the secretary was asked to be the president, the head of publicity was also asked to be the secretary, and then the head of the financial committee was also asked to act as the treasurer. So that is what actually happened. So what we are seeing in UHAS is no different from what we are already seeing in the University of Ghana. But years were more violent. Years more violent and other things. But what were the people of UHAS expecting? Yes, the case was sent to the highest judicial body of the university, that is the management. And so they were expecting that after everything has been done, the appeal court, that is the management, should be able to release a communique stating what the SRC is supposed to be done and what they are not supposed to do. But as at now, the people of UHAS and then all the people petition this SRC issues and its elections are saying that they have not had anything from management. And so there is no way election could have been conducted. And so that is it. So basically, I think the people of UHAS are in limbo. They're in limbo, we don't know what to do because it's like they have some thin or thick cut between what is right and what is wrong, what they are supposed to do and what they are not supposed to do. So I think moving forward, some of the previous candidates have assured us that they will take any step ahead to ensure that there is free and fair election and there is justice in the University of Health and Allied Sciences, the Student Representative Council. So we are still in the out for them. Yeah.
Okay, so there are a series of videos that we are going to show you pertaining to the previous election. Like we said earlier, there was a Chief Justice that came to place an injunction on it. Now, that was what made the whole process very, very long. Now, people are also saying that if the same thing repeats itself, it's something that is going to happen again. Because if we have this election, we vote for a president, there's another petition, and it drags the whole case. Now, someone sent a message yesterday that he's of the view that we shouldn't have elections at all. Let us maintain the acting president throughout, and the next administration we get someone else. What do you think of that?
Okay, so for that, we can't really say much. I would say the primary reason the acting president was elected or appointed was to, see to it that elections are conducted. And then, though we can say that, okay, then let me finish the whole thing, but the reason why he was there was to ensure that the elections are being conducted. And then one thing I also saw was that the statements or the verdict of the SRC appeal court was that the EC should carry out a new election of which candidates are to repay nomination forms. As my brother was saying, the issue has been sent to the University Appeal Management. As of now, there hasn't been any communication. I think the EC is going with what the SRC Appeal Court said. And so for now, we are hoping that things will be put in place. I don't know how things are going to be, but we just want everything to be in place and you have to continue moving on.
Okay, Kenneth, what about you?
Right. So on this particular issue on two levels, I would understand that people are hoping that the acting president continues to reign until the next academic year comes. And then on another level too, they are not really trusted with the issues of election when it comes to how it's supposed to be conducted, the equipment and everything that is needed for it to actually move on. That's what they are anticipating. And so if they are saying the acting president should continue, well, on first level, we think that is not precedented. We have seen which keys, we have seen this thing coming forth before. And so this is not something that is precedented. And so if they are hoping for that, well, you can go in and see some sense in there, and then we can talk about that. But our last parliamentary sitting, the EC assured us that this particular software that they are going to use is one that its credibility has been tested. And therefore, they are so much confident that this one is not going to betray them as it did to them last time. So, well, as a parliamentarian, what I can say is that the EC has come to the floor of Parliament to assure us that there is no way that this particular election is going to be flawed. That is from them. And so we have taken it from their mouth because it will be a kind of inconsistency if we are to spend much money on one particular election. So on two levels, I think one, it is precedented if they are saying that we should continue making the acting rate of the next academic year. And secondly, the EC has assured us on the floor of Parliament that yes, this particular election software and everything that is taking place in the process is the one that its credibility has already been tested.
Okay, so we're just going to hold on the issue of the credibility on the voting software. Now, yesterday we placed a flyer asking questions on our social media pages, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube at UHAS Base TV, that how do people feel about one candidate standing for the presidency? So I'm going to read a couple of comments that we had. So this one says, we shouldn't hold the election because if it is only him going, then it means something is going on behind that we don't know. Another person says, we shouldn't hold the election for this administration and wait for another. Another comment also says, it's no one's fault that he's contesting alone. The Electoral Commission opens nominations. Those who thought they were interested, it's democratic unless the court rules otherwise. So if you are still watching, send us your comment on what at 05064977, or you can also tweet with the hashtag UHAS decides. So moving on back to the issue on the voting software. Now, another comment that someone said, I'm yet to find it. The person raised the comment last year at the court. We are all saying that there was a problem with the voting software, but yet that's vote software, vote for the secretary, the treasurer.
Okay, so I'll say, before you started, you raised a concern about an aspirant vice, dropping a night
the night before
the election. So the whole issue started from there because people were raising the issue that one can't stand without advice and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue of the software having a problem was after the verdict of the court stated that although there was an issue with the software, it didn't really show that it was rigged or it affected the results giving. And so there was no way that they were going to cancel that on the other aspirants. So I think the verdict that the court gave was that yes, the software had a problem, but it didn't mean that the results was rigged. And we should also note that last year's election, it was because no candidate had 50% plus one of the total votes casted for the presidential election. And so that was how come there was an issue of there should be a rerun or a runoff for the aspirants, and then they picked up the issue with a lot of petitions here and there. Now we are here. So it wasn't really because the software had an issue with it, but it wasn't really proving that the result was rigged. That was how come the other contestants or the other positions had their way through to go on with their positions.
Okay.
Yeah, this particular issue is very interesting. It's an interesting one. Well, even before the voting, people had already raised a concern. People had already tagged the presidential candidature of something that all of us know that was obvious. And so having people to fix their mind on only the presidency or the candidature of the presidency is something that all of us are expecting. Could it have been the WUCOM, the federal WUCOM, or any other candidate has come out to, show why the election was rigged and all of those things? Well, we could have also considered that. But what you need to understand is that all the petitions that we had, all the concerns and then all the problems that we had, all those things that we had was something that was focused on the candidature of the presidency. That was what necessitated all those arguments and the courts hearing and all those things. But then my sister said something like, they didn't say the results was rigged or something like that. Yes, it was true. Now, why did it happen? So the people were able to show with evidence that the election was rigged or it was breached, but they couldn't show how it was done. So you told me that somebody got hit, but you didn't tell me how the person got hit. That is how the court, uh, uh, issued out its verdict on that particular basis. That yes, you were able to show us that yes, it was breached, it was rigged. But as to how it was breached, they had no evidence to back it. So that was the reason why the court didn't have enough confidence to give them whatever they were looking for. But as I've already told you, Zenas, you would bear with me that I told you that 3 of the candidates have already released a notice showing their fans that they are going to go heaven and earth to ensure that this process is being monitored well and then adequately. But what we are treating them and encouraging them to do is that if they want to do anything, it should be constitutional. It should be constitutional and legally approved.
Okay. Yes. Now, still on the issue of the voting software. I mean, I've raised this point before, but someone else keeps saying that why don't we just move to the ballot system? Well, the ballot system counts with all other, but then generally that's what almost every country and maybe University of Ghana, that's what the ballot system, because if over the years we've been using the voting software and then there's a problem, I mean, we can just go ahead and use the ballot system. Some people say if the school writes, if the SRC writes to the Electoral Commission, asking them for assistance to do a ballot election, that will be possible, and it may reduce this issue of the credibility of the voting software. Do you share the same view?
Okay, the ballot system can be used, but like I said, it also has its disadvantages. Yes, so as of now, looking at the implications, for now, because of the winter strike, most students are not on campus.
Yeah.
And so if you should go with a ballot system, for me, I don't know how feasible it will be, but it can still be used, especially when the full house is in place. I mean, other schools are using it and they don't have any issue with it. So I think we can still use the balloting system in it.
Okay.
Well, with the physical voting and the balloting,
yeah,
what happens is that you mentioned that the University of Ghana is already enrolling their election processes in that regard. But you should also understand that at the time that they were doing their election, some of their students were at home. And so they couldn't get the full house to involve themselves in that particular regard. So what happened was that they were balloting at the same time online voting for the people who were in the house. You understand? So to talk about why we should use the online voting or why we should use the balloting, I think both of them has their advantage and their disadvantage. Okay. But to the best of my knowledge, UG enrolled themselves in the balloting at the same time, the online voting. Moving forward, what we should understand and look for is that we should just get a credible software, because at the end of the day, we have come to a world where everything is technology. It's technology. And talking about the cost involved is something that we should also be concerned about, because we have to get security men who are guiding and following these ballot papers. We have to get a lot of sheets. We have to maintain all of them. And if we are to find ourselves in the case of UG where they had to enroll themselves in both the online at the same time balloting, I mean, you can imagine the cost that the SRC pay. And so it is important that we just look for the credibility, because at any point in time, we are just looking for free, transparency, and fair election. That is what the people of UHAS are asking for. And so in whichever way, we think that corruption is inevitable, because surely there can be balloting and people will also decide to do their theft, their robbery, and all those, their malfeasance and all those things. They can just enroll in it. So let's just focus our attention, our ideas and everything on achieving a credible, transparent, and fair election, other than opting for other alternatives and proposing other mechanisms that we can use to vote, when already what we are having is not fetching us any reasonable reasons why we should stop using it. So moving forward, let's consider how we'll be able to vote fairly, free, and transparently, so that at the end of the day, we actually become the best of.
Okay, so We're going to take a couple of comments from our Facebook page. Now, this comment is from Edisa Elijah, and it says, "It's so upset that the interests of the entire student populace are not being considered because of someone else's selfish gain. I doubt if the next administration would make any significant or positive difference from the past leadership as we are expecting. It is believed that the electioneering process this time around does not win the trust of the majority of the students. Hence, the spirit behind the SRC would be supposedly dimmed. May God help us." Another comment also says that the problem, this is from Abutu Saka, the problem is not an aspirant going unopposed, but rather the integrity of the judicial arm of the SRC and the SRC at large. A comment from Robert says, "What happened to democracy?" Then one final comment, "It just doesn't feel right. It's like there is no competition, and in the absence of competition, the person in question does not give his or her absolute best." So these are comments from our Facebook page. So if you are watching us, you can go there and give us your comments, or you can use it on Twitter with the hashtag UHAS decides. So now let's move on. So we are going to take a look at the video where the Chief Justice was placing an injunction on it. Like I said earlier, last year he placed an injunction. So I want us to go take a look at the video where he placed an injunction on the election.
Here this evening to make known to the entire student populace of UHAS of a petition or a suit the office of the the Chief Justice, received this afternoon. And in summary, an aggrieved student is suing the SRC Electoral Commissioner, and because of that, we start to announce that there has been an injunction on the declaration of the SRC presidential results only. So we are entreating the EC not to declare the results for the SRC presidential portfolio only. And this comes as an order from the Superior Court of Judicature of the SRC. The EC shouldn't go ahead and declare the results for the SRC presidential portfolio. However, the other results can be displayed. There's going to be a court hearing most likely tomorrow or Sunday to see the merit of the case, after which the court...
Right, so that was the former Chief Justice in person of Yeba Isaac, who placed an injunction on the election moments before the Electoral Commissioner was about to declare the results. So this was what led to the court hearing. Now we're discussing an issue about the voting software. Now I'm going to show you a video where during the court hearing, one of the candidates was talking about the voting software and how people were able to enter wrong pins and vote. Let's take a look at the video.
Judgment. 1. A rerun of only the presidential elections as major inexcusable constitutional breaches by the Electoral Commissioner as well as the vetting committee in carrying out their mandates. 2. Fresh nominations be opened for only the presidential candidates. Presidential candidate of the election subject to this trial will not pay for nomination forms, but will not be given or will not get a refund if he decides to back out of the election yet to be conducted. However, this nomination is open to fresh candidates at the fee stipulated by the Electoral Commission. 3. Vetting committee members doing the vetting of the presidential candidates subject to this trial are relieved of their position, except the Electoral Commissioner and the legal advisor, who are mandatory members of the vetting committee as stipulated by the Constitution under Article 47. 4. The Electoral Commission is ordered to pay a fine of 1,000 Ghana cedis. The chairperson pays 400 Ghana cedis and the two deputies pay 300 Ghana cedis each. 5. The vetting committee is ordered to pay a fine of 800 Ghana cedis. Each member shall pay 100 Ghana cedis each. The vetting committee members were 8, and every member is supposed to pay 100 cedis. 6. Mr. Emmanuel Kwabena shall pay an additional fine of 200 Ghana cedis for conflict of interest, that is being a member of the vetting committee as well as being a WhatsApp group administrator of Team Asubontin. Signed.
Can you state emphatically to the Scott that the password you see on the screen is the one given to you by the school at the inception of stay here or something?
No, please.
So what password were you given?
It was the last 4 digits of the index number, 1147.
1147.
47.
1147.
Yes, please.
So this password is a changed password.
Yeah.
It's not the first one.
No, please.
Okay. Kindly take your seat. Thank you, my lord. Can I proceed? Can I proceed? Okay, so this is even though a changed password before the day of voting, which is supposed to work perfectly. Oh, what is happening? So, my lord, we will use his changed password to prove our case. Oh. Now, this is the UHAS portal house. My lord, you have seen it with your own eyes. UHAS 2020-1147. The password we saw was 1957. Shall we enter? Okay, let me log out. UHAS 2020-1147. 1957. Please, where should I show the password? Where should I show the password? Where should I show the password? So, my lord, let one of you witness me type the password into the portal. Please type it 1957. 1957. It's already there. 57. Enter. Enter. Just press enter. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you very much. Please, Honorable Dominic, can you remove your nose mask for the whole house and the justices here to see you? Put it on. Put it on, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, sir, let's go back to the video. In the morning, when he texted me, he told me that he keyed in his portal password, and what they were telling him was incorrect credential. Incorrect credential. This is the video. He's looking for the link to vote. The link that was sent for us to vote. That's what he's looking for. This is the link. It has opened the software system. You are going to look at the password and the index number again. This is the index number, and that's the password. UHAS 2020-1147. Now, initially, he had used his own password, but it didn't work. So we decided, with the rumors we have heard, let us try. Now, we've already established that we tried with his own password to his portal. A password changed before the day of voting, and it opened his portal. So let's go and look at his password. But we did not type his password. We did not type his password. See what you are typing. 111. You saw it. We typed 111. But pause. Let us look at the name that appears over there. The name that appears at the top there is Kujolinda with a different index number. Let me screenshot. The owner of the PC, can you come and zoom this out for me, please? My lords, we are proving an evidence. Please permit us to prove the evidence.
Not that we don't want you to prove. This type of evidence has been shown to the court. Does it lead to voting? That is
It leads to voting because it has allowed
The issue with mismatched names is a different item on the petition.
So, my
You
lord,
also get there. So if you know does not lead to rigging of election in the first objective, why do we bother ourselves to go through all the entire process?
so my lord, can I come in, please, my lord?
Please,
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
your
So,
closing statement.
what I am saying is that in my closing statement, what I'm saying is that for one to be able to vote, your password and your index number is the first thing. Without it, you cannot vote. Please let me finish. Without it, you cannot vote. And the only yardstick that should allow you into the software should be your password. He tried with his password, his actual password, it didn't work.
Okay, what
We've heard this over and over
again.
I'm making my closing statement. He tried with his own password, it didn't work.
All right, so that was, like I said earlier, an expert from the court hearing which happened last semester. So we are being joined on the phone by Mr. Farouk. He has been the local NOX president of UHAS. Mr. Farouk, thank you for joining us, and I must say he joined us on the phone call. You've been current on what is happening in UHAS in terms of the SRC presidency. What is your take on it so far?
Okay, thank you very much to you, the host, and then your listeners. I'm very privileged, it is always heartwarming to come back to UHAS and then get involved on whatever happens in UHAS. The current happening in the SRC, to me personally, is kind of a mixed reaction. It will be out of order for me to start pointing, hands on people doing the wrong thing or the right thing. However, my overall assessment of what is happening is that, people in authority could do better. Starting from, the acting SRC president, the EC, and everybody. People can just do better.
Okay, so relating to the current issue, now, as you know, we have just one person standing for candidacy for SRC president. What do you make of it? Do you think that, the others weren't able to file nominations in time, so it's just left with one person standing. What is your view on that?
So I'm told just one person is contesting.
Yes.
Something that is really, really, if you ask me, in my opinion, is very upset. In the face of the fact that people filed nominations some time ago for no offense of theirs, the electoral processes were truncated, and today they are the victim of someone's misgiving or someone's deliberate attempt to kind of I don't want to use the word swindle, that is very, very harsh, but then in someone's attempts to outsmart the system, today they are the ones suffering the person's fate, which is also unfair. But then I think, as I said earlier on, people in authority can do better. The EC, from what I've read, I have not listened to his side. I am a firm believer of the law of natural justice. That's the law of natural justice. Listening to both sides. So maybe if I get to hear the EC side of the story, I will know exactly what is happening. But then, if you ask me, I make a complete bullshit of the issue that the Chief Justice and his committee or the Supreme Court have ruled on the issue. So for that matter, he's allowed to organize a fresh election and etc. No. This is an election that involves candidates, not meeting one of the requirements. He didn't have a vice president. The constitution of UHAS is quite clear. You must have a vice president to be able to contest as a president. He didn't have, 24 hours to election, he didn't have a vice president, which was an automatic disqualification. And we all know what it means when you are disqualified from an election. You don't have, the chance to contest. And what it means is, others should have carried on with their election without this person. You understand? So if these people did not meet the the requirements, and for that matter, they should have been out. I don't think others should be the ones to suffer. I mean, what is happening? For me personally, I have been part of the committee that constituted the UHAS constitution. We framed it. I was so privileged to be part of the committee that framed the constitution. And if this is what people will be doing to abuse the constitution, all in the name of following the constitution to the letter, then I think the essence of doing the constitution has been thrown to the dog, if you ask me, in my honest opinion. So I think the EC should come again. He should just do the right thing. The person doesn't qualify. He doesn't qualify. I don't want to be judgmental. However, I think this is how best I could be in terms of not being judgmental. The person doesn't qualify. He doesn't qualify. Electoral process is supposed to continue without the person.
Okay. All right.
He's supposed to continue without the person. Once he doesn't qualify, he doesn't qualify.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Farouk. Mr. Farouk was the former local NOKS president for here in UHAS, and he was giving us his view on recent happenings in UHAS. Like we said earlier, we have just one candidate standing for presidency this time. So usually last year it was 5 candidates, but then this year it's only one. Now, according to what we are hearing from the EC, nominations were open and just one person had filed nomination. Now, a communique was released from the camp of other teams, Team Elijah, Team Sunnydays, Team Elijah, Team Subontin, and the rest. They are saying that the issue is still at court, so they see no reason why the Electoral Commission should still hold elections. So again, send us your comments. What do you think about it? Is the EC on the right part, on the wrong part? What do you think? Let us know. So I've got a couple of comments more that I'm going to read. And so another one says that personally, I don't see any problem with it because nominations were open for all the candidates, and then just one person filed for nominations. Why didn't the other file? Were they scared? It is their fault then. And that is coming from Emmanuel. So like I'll say again, send us your messages on phone call or via WhatsApp at 050-164-9771. I'm going to our Twitter page where we have a couple of comments here. I'm going to read them to you. Now the question we're being asked is, how do you feel about one person standing for SRC president? Now we have about 8 comments here and I'm going to read them. So one of the comments says that I believe the others can't just let go of their problems and move on. Why couldn't they pick up new forms and contest? Nothing prevented them. This is from Apia Kubi. He says, it tells how people aren't happy with the performance of the EC in the last election. Sami says that I suggest we retain the acting president and run another election. Mr. Kaudi says that your acting president is not an immediate high-ranking SRC executive. He's just the president of the Student Christian Board, and he didn't run for anything concerning the SRC. Actually, in some way, the other competitors are scared of losing. The results from the previous election showed them their odds. So I think that's why they are restricting themselves. And then finally, from Joseph, it tells how people are unhappy with the happenings around the whole SRC election. It's just disgusting to see all these acts in the election. So that is all about the previous election. So now let's come to today's election. Now today we are here to listen to the manifesto of one of the candidates. Now we have heard it before. Is there something new that we are going to expect? Is there something new he's going to see at? So stay and then hear what he has to say. So now let's come to the recent issue now. Now it's just one person going to read the manifesto. Somebody will there is no need he does that. He's just alone. I mean, he has one. Is it like that?
All right, so
Yeah, you go first.
All right, so with the issue of one person running for the office of the presidency, the assurance and then he's a sole person because he's a sole person going for that candidature. We think that is not even an issue. There's a particular benchmark that you are supposed to meet. If you are going for yes and no, I don't know, then you have 49% or 40% to. We think you have won. By the end of the day, if you have 60%, no, we think you have lost. So we still have a criteria governing the way that even a sole person standing for the candidature is supposed to be handled. But then again, we think that I wanted to say this early on, Zenas, that the concern and then how the SRC Judicial Court is working is solely based on their concern and their awareness of any communique or any information that is coming from the appeal board. The SRC Judicial Court is saying that they are not aware of any information coming from the Judicial Appeal Board, that is from management. And so, per constitution, they are bound and they can actually go ahead to have the election. So that's what I wanted to repeat again. That the SRC Judicial Court is saying that he is not aware that management or appeal board is saying that they should withdraw from all election processes that they have begun or they are even about to begin. And that is why, according to them, from constitution, they are bound and they are free to actually organize or conduct another election. So that is what necessitated their step to organize the new one. So they were actually sensitizing the people who petition the judicial court that, okay, fine, this is what you are saying, but if you are able to provide us with all the documents, those things that is saying that management saying we should withdraw and all those things, if you're able to bring them back to us before 2nd February or 2nd February, then we are good to go, and then we can engage in further discussion.
Okay, Stella, what about you?
So I think when Mr. Farouk was talking, he made a point, and this what we are doing. A lot of people are going to watch this, and I think it's best we back whatever we are saying with documents, so that those watching knows that what we are saying is true. I have a document here, and then this is from the SRC Appeal Board. Okay. So the issue, there were a lot of petitions to the Office of the Chief Justice. That's where we had court hearings. Yeah. They moved it again to the SRC Appeal Board, of which a lot of members, of which one was the Dean of Students, Dr. Kabna Dodu, who was the chair, Mr. Wilson, and a couple of others, of which the now acting SRC president was part. Okay. And this matter the hearing was on Friday, 3rd September 2021 at Trafalgar, and then the appellants were Mr. Emmanuel Pabnabuat, and popularly known as EK, and then Mr. Godwin Ajay, and then the respondent was the Electoral Commission. In order not to reach the whole thing, we have the case summary here, the case of the appellants, and then the case of the respondents. I want us to go into the findings or the verdicts that the appeal board gave. So the judgment that the board gave was that regarding the case of the fines, the board declares that SRC Constitution has given the courts the mandate to use whichever means to enforce its ruling, and hence applying fines does not mean that court has moved out of its jurisdiction. Remember the court of the Chief Justice fined the EC and then the vetting committee for not being able to go through and ensure that everything was done right. But he also went ahead to say, however, since part of the work of the vetting committee conducted was satisfactory, that is, regarding the other aspirants, and adopted it, the errors with presidential aspirants should not carry the fines. Instead, the vetting committee should be dissolved. The fines imposed by the court thus are padded. And so they dissolved it, and then it also, the second judgment was that regarding the request for the board to recommend Mr. Oblite to management for criminal investigation, the board ruled that there was no case of forgery established, and hence that recommendation cannot be made. Also, regarding the request to remove the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the board advises that the appellants to use the constitutional powers to for removal of the EC chair. This part is what I want us to note. Regarding requests to disqualify Mr. Sunnydays, the board upon its findings states that he submitted documents just as any aspirant and went through all required processes for the EC and vetting committee to determine his eligibility. There is no evidence to suggest conniving or deliberately wrongdoing in the matter of his vice candidates not submitting the official document. The Electoral Commission and the vetting committee did not vet the documents of the vice candidates properly by ensuring all documents were available and met the standard. The Electoral Commission accepted the resignation of the vice presidential candidate of Mr. Sunnydays and allowed the election to proceed in error. In the absence of evidence to suggest that Mr. Sunnydays was involved in wrongdoings with the Electoral Commission that was intended to give him an undue advantage over his competitors. The board is unable to grant the request to disqualify Mr. Sunnydays. The board, based on his findings, however, rules that the processes surrounding the presidential elections were not transparent and fair, and thus the presidential election is declared null and void. So that was how the fresh process, let's all note this, fresh processes should be initiated for a rerun of the presidential election. The entire vetting committee is dissolved with immediate effect and not some members of the committee being relieved as were earlier ruled by the court. So they nullified the whole report for the presidential election. And then as it stands now, like my brother said, there hasn't been any documents from the Investing Appeal Board that hold on. I think if the Investing Appeal Board should bring a communique today, tomorrow, or before the voting, that the Electoral Commission should hold on the election processes, it will have no other choice than to hold on. But as at now, dealing with the findings or the judgments of the SRC Appeal Board, the Electoral Commission can go on and conduct the election. And then it stated that the whole election process should, take all over again. And so, personally, I don't know why other applicants didn't pick new nomination forms, because, they could have still picked nomination forms as they are still following up on the issue to know things. And so, we also have to hear from them why they didn't pick the nomination. But as it stands now, for me, I think the only thing that can change this is either the SRC Appeal Board comes to place a vote on the judgments it gave, or the University Appeal Board to place a vote on the whole election process for, other things to go. But aside that, I think the EC can go on with what it's doing.
So, yes, so that is the big question everyone is asking now. Why didn't the other candidates pick up the nomination form? Now, this, you may sit down and say election in UHAS, many people don't care about it, but actually a lot of people do pay attention to it. Now, last year during the election, as the EC was declaring the result, there was a fight on Trafalgar outside. So I want us to take the video at the fight. So what I'm trying to say is that it's like now students have begun to develop more interest in these kinds of events due to this election and court hearing process. That is why a lot of people are talking about this. So now the question everyone is asking right now, why didn't the other candidates speak? Now, from afar, if you look at it, it looks as if one person is conniving with the Electoral Commission to conduct election and then wins. But then if you really go into details and understand, realize that most of them didn't pick up nomination form. As to why they didn't pick up, that is what nobody knows.
Well, Zenas, I think I can come in here. Looking at the notices that they have, delivered and relayed to the people of UHAS. All the three communiques that they have received from the camps of these teams that were part of the previous candidature. You could see that one of the things that they are re-echoing several times is that they have sent the case to the university management, that is the appeal board, and as at now, there is not a final verdict. If you read all the three communiques that is coming from them, there are cases that the university management has not yet given a final verdict. And so, according to them, election is not supposed to be conducted. Looking from Team Elijah, Team Esubonte, and Team Gabriel, they are all saying that, okay, look at it. For we understand that the election is supposed to take place. I mean, you are supposed to.
Are we on air? I respond to the name of Sunnydays, Sedem, Kweku Keklekbe, Amuji. A fourth-year medical imaging student of this noble university. A fourth-year medical imaging student of this noble university, aspiring to be the next Federal Council President of the UHAS SRC, with my able vice in the person of Mr. Samuel Abin, a third-year nursing student. As Billy Bailey said, in unity, there's strength. We can move mountains when we are united and enjoy life. Without unity, we are victims. We can all bear to the witness that we, the students, are not united enough. And it looks like everyone is gradually lost, as many students do not actively engage themselves in the affairs of the SRC. Mr. Chairman, I strongly believe that we, selfless leaders, can contribute a lot more to the development of this nation in terms of service to humanity and innovation. In order to achieve this, we need a supportive and enabling environment provided by good leadership with integrity. Mr. Chairman, the mission of Team Sunnydays is to make and lead the path to a better, brighter, bona fide, and a more student-centered SRC with endless positive possibilities, which promotes personal and institutional development geared towards improving the quality of life in UHAS. I am competent, a visionary who stands for the total transformation of the face of the SRC to empower students to make decisions that affect their lives on campus, be united in heart and in mind. I stand here today to declare the Better UHAS agenda. The Better Student Life agenda, or the Better UHAS agenda, is a concept to instigate a more formidable picture for the roles the UHAS SRC plays in the lives of UHAS students. This agenda is in line with the spirit of the UHAS SRC Constitution, which is determined to give vision and focus to the student movement in general, and university students in particular, with the view of improving upon the quality of students' life through trusted student-centered leadership, innovation, integrity, progress, and the promotion of personal and institutional development with endless positive possibilities, resolved to ensure unflinching solidarity among students and better the lives of UHAS on campus. Mr. Chairman, it's about time we had an SRC hidden for the sake of personal affiliations. An SRC where intellectuals do not settle for mediocrity. An SRC where quality is not compromised for the ideology of being in a new university. And an SRC where our student leaders take full responsibility for their duties and work diligently in the best interest of the student populace. Mr. Chairman, the UHAS student is confronted with a lot of challenges. Some of these challenges include, but not limited to, accommodation problems, transportation, health, security and safety, school fees, sports and entertainment, sanitation and hygiene. To begin with my policies, Mr. Chairman, under hostel and accommodation. Under hostel and accommodation, the Sundays-led administration would ensure the immediate and frequent fumigation of all hostels on campus. before the beginning of every academic semester. This will help to reduce the population of students in the hostels. We'd also work with management to provide more tables and chairs to facilitate learning activities in the hostels. Mr. Chairman, hostel immediate allocation, provision of an armed security personnel at the SBBS hostel, as they are isolated from the rest. Mr. Chairman, under the health, sanitation, and hygiene policy, the Sunnydays administration will provide first aid boxes in all school offices and security posts on campus. Would organize practical periodic first training programs to train all students on campus. This policy seeks to equip students with basic practical information and skills on first aid procedures. Mr. Chairman, under my administration, would also introduce the NHIS policy, where subsidized NHIS cards or creation and renewal for all students will be taken up by the SRC. The policy is aimed at ensuring that every student in the university is always covered under the National Health Insurance Scheme. This will also prevent unpleasant situations. Students without NHIS card find themselves in when visiting the hospitals. Never again in the history of UHAS should our own die because of NHIS card. We would introduce a multi-purpose card which shall bear the UHAS ID as a student card and still bear the NHIS card numbers and the hospital card numbers for all students. This card would help students be identified easily at the hospital. We would collectively work with the whole teaching hospital and management in the Hohwe Municipal Hospital and other stakeholders and make special provision for the provision of students to access health services without joining the queue. This will go a long way in preventing or mitigating the unfortunate incidences of students missing IEs and lectures due to long queues at the hostels, at the hospitals. Mr. Chairman, we would also advocate for the increasement of waste bins on campus. This will help promote hygiene and prevent the overflow of waste when the waste collection services do not come on time to collect waste. We would also conduct periodic online social media education and campaign on sanitation. We need to keep our campuses clean on both Hu and Hohwe campuses. Mr. Chairman, again, the Sunnydays administration will liaise with the Dean of Students' Office, the Office of the Pro VC, to see how best students can have their school fees released at least 31 days before the reopening date of the next academic year. This will help stakeholders, sponsors make adequate preparation on gathering resources for the early payment of fees. Would also ensure that management provides a detailed breakdown of fees. This will bring about clarification of issues regarding fees paid by students. We'd also set up an SRC-owned student welfare account dedicated to student welfare. a percentage of this account of the dues will be dedicated to the account every year. We'd also pool resources from students and any available sponsors to support any student who loses a sponsor or parents whilst in school. An SMS short code will be introduced where students can send money to support other students. We'd also delegate at least 2 members of the SRC Parliament and 2 members serving under any of the committees who shall attend the funerals of students who loses a close relative whilst in school. These delegates shall represent the SRC and express solidarity and support to the students in such times. Mr. Chairman, under my sports policy, we work with the Sports Directorate in ensuring that UHAS participate in all GUSA games. We procure table tennis boards for the SRC, 2 for Hoye campus and 2 for Hull campus. These table tennis boards would also generate income for the SRC when rented. We also make sports in UHAS more attractive in the university. The SRC shall provide proper incentives for sportsmen and women and provide scholarship opportunities, souvenirs, and allowances will be made available to all sportsmen and women in the university. We work with the sports unit in organizing specialized training sections and a series of frequent sports activities throughout the semester. The thing of sportsmen having inadequate training before GUSA games will be a thing of the past. We'd also allocate specific coaches to sportsmen in specific disciplinaries. This will ensure that all sportsmen in the university would have access to coaches at every point in time throughout the semester. Mr. Chairman, under my transport policy, we shall extend the current Ayalolo buses to Hawkway campus. The services of Ayalolo will not be limited to just transporting students within the campus, but also transporting students during vacations to their various regions and back to the campus when school reopens. We work with the university management, the whole municipal assembly, the whole taxi union, and the voter union of tricycle riders for the establishment of permanent taxi rank at our campus at Sokode. This policy seeks to provide alternative means of transport from our permanent campus. This policy will also address the issue of our students not being able to leave campus at any time when the bus is not full. Students will be able to leave campus at any time, with or without the Metro Mass or the Ayalolo bus. Mr. Chairman, under the Sandwich Game Changer agenda, we shall, with care, negotiate and consult, bridge the gap between the SRC and Sandwich fraternity through frequent meetings and engagement with Sandwich students. This will foster relations between Sandwich students and the SRC. It's about time both entities became one. We'll also provide microphones and public address systems in all lecture rooms. Lecturers will not have to shout on top of their voices when lecturing a larger number of students. Students at the back will have a better participation during lectures. Mr. Chairman, we ensure that the mode of communication between management, the course reps, and the students is properly structured, defined, and coordinated. Emails and text SMS would be employed in addition to the existing communication mode, which is WhatsApp. This will ensure a robust, well-defined and structured route of communication between all stakeholders. The problem of students receiving wrong information and late information will be a thing of the past. Mr. Chairman, my administration will work with Academic Affairs Office to conduct an evaluation study at the end of every module for sandwich students, which will help identify key problems faced by sandwich students in every module. This will help identify and resolve the various problems encountered by sandwich students during the sandwich sections. There shall also be serious advocations for the provision of more dummies and more practical-based models for sandwich students, as well as regular students, to provide a better understanding and a practical view of what lecturers intend to communicate. Mr. Chairman, hostel allocation for sandwich students would also be made available online so that students can book their accommodation prior coming to the university. The IT capacity and human development for all. The IT committee will work with the IT department in resolving simple issues faced when it comes to IT. This shall include troubleshooting of computers, updating their softwares, both on phone and their computers. We shall redevelop and initiate the upgraded and modified version of the UHAS mobile app introduced by the past administration. This will promote ease of access of information and access to student portal through the app. Students would also have access to their slides and past questions through the app. We would also task the IC committee to work with management and its department to assist students in regaining access to their Vodafone SIM cards, student passwords, and emails. Admission letter issued to students would also be made printable from the students' portal. Students will no longer have to stress in searching for admission letters when applying for scholarships and any other thing that demands an admission letter. Mr. Chairman, under economics and accountability, my administration shall make available an audited monthly financial report on all its income and expenditures. This will help promote transparency and close services on all hostels on campus and at our main campus on both Hohwe and Ho campuses. This will serve as a means of internally generating funds for the SLC and also provide easy access to cash to students in our hostels and campus. We'll also work with the news executives to ensure that the Student Loans Office and other appropriate stakeholders in facilitating the disbursement of student loans. We'll also create a UHAS Entrepreneurship Hub, which will serve as a platform for student entrepreneurs to make their goods and services known. UHAS will grow, UHAS will shine, UHAS will see upliftment, UHAS will experience swift development that all problems in the university will be solved. What the Sunnydays administration is promising is to improve upon the quality of students' life on campus. This is the Better UHAS agenda. This agenda primarily seeks to resolve the basic problems confronted by students in the university to the best degree or mitigated to the most mitigatable degree. I'll seek your support in my pursuit to redefine leadership among the student populace and reinforce the essence of Students' Representative Council, and to promote and stand for the interest and well-being of the entire student body. I want you to support the vision of a personality who is dedicated to make full use of his intellectual and leadership abilities to cause positive changes. A personality who considers you first, not decision making. I'll make you as S-House work again. With you on my side, I'll urge all to vote for character, vote for confidence, vote for credibility, vote for Wood of Sunnydays, and let's make the Better UHAS agenda work. The Better UHAS agenda it is, and I see together we can. God bless UHAS. God bless our motherland Ghana. Thank you all. Mr. Chairman, you have
one on at Film site.
Yeah.
The multi-purpose.
These are like old buildings.
No, like I mean, is it at Film site?
Yeah, Film site.
Then
I think the
it's
whole
been,
MDM goes to.
it's been a while since I went to it. Please, can you hear us?
Okay. Right, so that was the candidate, Mr. Sunnydays, just giving his manifesto to the whole school public. He's so far the only person standing for the SRC presidency. Like we said earlier, other candidates had the chance to pick up nomination form, but they didn't. As to why they did that, we don't know. So we're just coming here to discuss his manifesto. I mean, he said a lot of things, some of which we've already heard before. Now, one of the major things we've heard was the bringing of ILO to whole campus, which we have already seen. That ILO is officially one of the shuttle services here on UHAS alongside Metro Mass. So one of his policies is that he's going to extend the ILO service to Hohwe. Now, most people at Hohwe complain that they find it difficulty going to class, they have to walk and all those things. So personally, I think it's a good policy. What do you think?
Oh yes, it's a good policy because I think transportation at Hohwe is one big issue because from what I learned, the hostels are a bit scattered from going to campus. So I think if he implements that policy, it's going to help.
Okay, yeah. So he also spoke about the revamping of the UHAS mobile app. Now, most of the level 100s, maybe 200s, may not even know of the UHAS mobile app, but we do have a mobile app that came somewhere in 2019. But since then, it's not really in use because most people, I mean, it's not up to date. So he's talking about revamping it, making it more accessible to students. You think you share the same view? I mean, like, KNUST has the KNUST AIM app where you can pay fees. But you see, for this one, I mean, many people say they don't use it because it's kind of restricted to what you can do. For KNUST, you can pay apps there, you can get past question. Ours is just seeing the portfolios of the executives and the constitution.
Yes, so myself, I didn't really use the mobile app frequently, so I wouldn't want to talk much about it. But if it's going to, portray more than what it's already in use of, I think it will help. But personally, I don't want to talk much about it because I don't have much knowledge about it. Yeah.
So do send us your comments to the number 0501649771 and tweet with the hashtag UHASDecide. Let us know what you are saying. What do you think of everything that's happened so far? Now we are left with, I think, one more thing, that is voting, the election day where we are all going to vote. Now, according to the roadmap released from the Electoral Commission, voting is supposed to take place this Friday. So meaning from today to Thursday, it's all through campaign. So voting is going to take place this Friday. So it's just one candidate. So it's going to be yes or no. So as we bring our coverage to an end, I want to hear your final remarks, closing remarks about everything that has happened so far.
Okay, so what I would like to say is that UHAS SRC, we are all part of the students' body. We shouldn't, let certain issues affect us so much. We shouldn't hold grudges. And then we should also trust the decisions of the management as well. And personally, I'm hoping that everything will be put in place. It should be fair, credible, and transparent, as we all say. Yes, so if it should be that it should be for him or he should be the only person to contest, why not? But if there is something that needs to be done for it to be fair to other aspirants as they are releasing communique, that one too should be done. So we are hoping for the best for all UHAS students. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that has been our coverage. Earlier I was speaking with Kenneth, who obviously he had to leave. So he is the committee chairperson for the Federal Audit Committee of UHAS. I'm also here with Stella. Stella is also a committee chairperson in SRC, and she's also part of us here at UHAS Base TV. I'm Zenas, and this has been our coverage of the Manifesto Reading. Now, as I said earlier, from today to Thursday is going to be campaigning, and on Friday will be election day where we are going to vote. Since it's one candidate, obviously it's going to be two options. Either we vote a yes or a no. So like I said earlier, go to Facebook, go to Twitter, and then give us all your remarks. What do you think? Are you going to vote on that day? Are you not going to vote? Tell us everything, and then thank you for watching. See you next time.